days away from the heathen. I need a break, I don't need a reason. I need a script, I don't need your grievance. Keep it to yourself, it's better for my health. Leave it on the shelf, ain't hearing nothing else. Tonight ain't the night, knowing the price. Pay it off with my life, till it's out with your lights. Do it all for the Christ, and he ain't playing nice. Knew the end from the start. Fix your face like it's art. The sons of a simp, call him Bart. Yeah, you did your best, played your part. But now it's time to cut you to the heart. Flex on occasion. It's the strangest of the salvation. You see it, believe it, amazing. Them chariots coming invasion since the creation. War, mine, Lord, bless the general. Greatest nation, eat them unequivocal. Bombs dropping, but it cause it's biblical. Start shit, now it's time to finish. Whoa. Said he won't woke, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world.
I can't wait for our kingdom to start and for there to be finished. Get rid of all of their idols and lying religions. Look for the crown like an Edris. Hey, this that crown talk. Wisdom of Solomon 5 talk. This that second Edris 6 and 9. We want eyes talk. It's your time to end and my time again. It's our time to win. Away with the sin. You know what it is. Rejoice with my kin. See that is why we repented. Go to streets, I can see myself in it. The city is bright, the kingdom of light. A wonderful sight past the angels, the inner light. I need 1,000 years of labor. Sit on my throne with my savior. Try to know wine, press alone. He bring pain like major. You think the nations is equal to us? TK Kirkland, who raised you? Flex on occasion, my God a racist. That's why we moving with patience. It's been a long time coming. I spent my whole life running. Now that I'm 10 toes down and established my faith on 100. Woe to the nations, my king will race them. You know they gotta be punished. Jeremiah 25. Yeah, you know they gon' fry. Whoa. Said he won't woke, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world.
In the beginning. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes. It's the Nehemiah Squad.
Yeah.
Hey, shalom, family. Most High Christ bless y'all. Pray all is well. All right, we back. You are at the Nehemiah Squad. All right, and we're going to reintroduce ourselves. I am Captain Zaccai.
Hey, I'm Officer Shem.
Officer Judah. No, Jadiel.
Oh, man, we got Officer Jadiel in the house once
building.
again.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, throw that thumbnail back up there. All right. So today's show is the brutality of apartheid in South Africa's dark history. All right. So we're going to talk about the apartheid that took place and still has ramifications to this day in South Africa. All right. And we have a very special guest. All right, that we want to introduce right now, Mr. Mlungisi Lulu Johnson. We're going to refer to him as Lulu Johnson, but we want to make sure we put up his actual name. So, my brother Lulu, where are you? There he is. How you doing, Mr. Lulu Johnson? How are you, sir? Okay, hold on. We have to unmute you. Hold on. Or is he
My
unmuted?
apologies about that.
Oh, there you go.
I am. Yeah. How am I? I am saying that under circumstances, I am fine. I'm able to breathe. I'm able to sit on my own. I'm able to walk.
That's right.
I'm able to have the roof on top of my head.
Yes, sir.
I'm able to go in a day with meals, 3 or so. I can safely say I am alive.
That's it. That's it. All praises to the Heavenly Father for that, right? We wake up every day and we give thanks. So, Lulu, walk us through, take us from the beginning. How did you start? Because you represented the ANC for many, many years, decades. How did you get started in your political life, and what came after that? Getting with the ANC, then eventually dealing with Nelson Mandela, so on and so forth. We'll run through it slowly, but just give us how you started.
Firstly, your program takes place during a very important month in our calendar in South Africa, especially for the progressives. This is a calendar that talks to Oliver Reginald Tambo, having born on the 27th of October. This is an important calendar month in the history, in the diary of our movement. For our government, this is what is called Transport Month, wherein fatalities are reported on a daily basis. This month is a month that heads towards December, wherein December month is largely a month wherein people take time off and people drive all over the country. So many accidents do take place. And then, of course, also the ANC having been allied, or rather aligned with the Communist Party. My due apologies for having mentioned that, because I'm addressing now, a community of Christians. However, as I said, this is one party that the ANC got to be aligned with, and it is a month that is called Red October Month. I grew up in a family of Christians. At home, it is a family headed by our father, Henry Cyril Mfundisi Johnson. From birth, we were introduced to the teachings of Old Testament.
Right.
That's basically how, Bantu Church of Christ is located. And later on, one of our brothers got sick mentally, and our mother had to be all over the country trying to find ways of helping him, until she got in touch with the Apostolic Faith Mission Church, which gave him some bit of relief until he later died in his life. So effectively, Bantu Church of Christ is one of those African independent churches in our country that was established by Bishop Limba. This is now 1914 when the church was established. Now with my traveling and my journey, having been in South Africa, living under those circumstances, two brothers from time to time would have had to, paid visits to by the special branch of the South African Police. And at 3 a.m. At any given point in time, there would be those torches, and there would be those knocks on our doors and on our windows at home in New Brighton, in one of our old townships, until a point where our parents had to move us, myself and my older sister, outside of our home to the place where our uncle lived. And later on, that was in 1977. And then 1978, we were then taken out of town to go pursue our studies at the time. I would have been doing grade 9, at which point, we did go out. We went out to a school called, what is this called? A school called Ebu Pumleni High School that was in Butterworth. Now, it is there that I did my grade 9. Elukhanyisweni, my apologies. Not Pumleni, Elukhanyisweni is the name of the school. During the year 1978, having been there in Butterworth, the school also got to hear of the commemoration of 1976 June 16 events. Of us from Johannesburg, from Cape Town, from Durban, and I was coming from Port Elizabeth at the same time. At the time. Later on, it is now called Tabecha. We then went out to attend such a program in a township called Msobomvu in Butterworth. What turned out is that we got to be known, having had to attend that commemoration a second year on the row from 1976, 1977. This is 1978. Not knowing what was to happen after we had gotten back, what came out to be the case was a visit by the special branch of former Zaccai, which was a Bantustan at the time. And our names were called upon of those that came out to attend that commemoration, and out of which it was very clear that there was a very strong and strict message for all of us, those coming from outside of the former Zaccai, that the following year, 1979, we were just not coming back. So that was to be the case, and we did not come back. It was in 1978 when we got back from Butterworth in Port Elizabeth that one was to be, found being in contact with those that were part of Young Christian Workers. Young Christian Workers is called, in short, YCW.
Okay, so
that was to be the beginning of my journey going forward.
I think we have a delay, right? We have a delay, so I'm sorry to interject. But the Young Christian Workers, I wanted to make sure people hear that clearly. So you got involved with the Young Christian Workers, correct? Also, I want to say one thing. When you mentioned in 1977, 1976, 77, 78, those years, I remember from what I was reading, Stephen Biko, he was killed during that time, right? During 1977. Did that have any impact on what was going on at the time? Right, before we get into the Young Christian Workers, I just wanted to find that out.
It certainly did have an impact. This is now 1977, right. September the 12th, when Steve Biko was killed.
Right. Yes.
On a police van after torture from this very town, Port Elizabeth, wherein he was locked up in the cells not far from where I stay. In 1976, we were at school at the time. It must have been around August, the month, when we saw some young learners from other parts of the country, of town, came to our school, literally having to knock on all of our doors, literally getting us out of classes. This is now, as I said, 1976 in August, when the fever touched on our doors in our township, New Brighton, in Port Elizabeth. So that was to be the beginning of anything and everything that took place later in the years. The influences, as I mentioned, of both my two brothers, and also what happened with what happened in Soweto, were the two occasions that really brought attention to myself and the rest of those that stay in the area of Port Elizabeth.
Right. So tell us about you getting involved with the Young Christian Workers, right? Because that was a big influence in your life as far as guiding you to where you went. So talk a little bit about that.
1976, after those episodes that saw some of the students from other schools knocking on our doors at school, in our school. What became very clear is that all hell broke loose. What that means is that students in the area were able to find themselves joining and also playing a role in terms of defiance of the laws of the country at the time. What that meant is that the students were able, to join those processes that took place both in Soweto and other parts of the country. Banning of beer halls in the townships. Some of the schools equally were banned. And some of the institutions that belonged to the apartheid state were also banned, like, your municipal buildings that were administering some of our daily activities in our townships. In that whole process, the youth outside of school equally joined, and that meant that there were shootings that were to take place. There were tear gases that were thrown at us as we would be mobilized into groups and groups. And some of those they had to be shot dead, like it was had to be the case with one incident that took place on the 18th of August, being the first victim out of that, with a lady that stays in our townships, straight away from where I used to stay, or rather, where my home is located at, that is now my parents' house. That was to mean, a lot of those shootings taking place and funerals as such, therefore, were to take place, wherein, out of curiosity on some of us, we would attend those funerals. And that's basically where it started.
So, Lulu,
before even young Christian workers, before we were even involved, structurally, those funerals were mobilizing points, where areas where, freedom songs were to be taught, and we were to learn of those freedom songs. Poetry was to be something that also was to be a very serious mobilizing factor among us as young people growing up, long before I got to be involved, or rather invited to join Young Christian Workers. Okay. So those activities were serious mobilizing factors, and those also were happening right in our own townships. And I remember the one other family after that that was to be killed, the Eshu family. Eshu is a surname of one family that used to stay in Madala Street. I remember also in an area called Msimka Street.
One second, Lulu, I'm sorry. Okay, because I know we have a delay, so I'm sorry. But you brought up and I wanted to show this to the audience as well. You brought up about the events on June 16th, right? So I just want to show a little bit of a video for people to see what was actually happening at that time, right? So they can get an idea of what you're talking about. Bring up video number 5. Okay, we're just going to show just a little bit of the shootings, the incursions that was happening at that time, right? Turn the volume up.
Since June the 16th, when South African troops and police opened fire on a peaceful school children's demonstration, the white government has presided over the largest massacre of its black population since South Africa came into existence. Hundreds of blacks have died, thousands have been wounded, but the white Prime Minister says there is no crisis.
All right, so let's pause there. So this is what Lulu was making mention of, right? So we can all see exactly what was happening. They said many brothers and sisters were killed out there that day, right, by the police, the white police. So Lulu, can we ask what happened? Now, obviously a lot happened right after that. Did you guys pick up arms at that time? Was there an armed resistance? Did people say, okay, well, let's get together and let's fight back? Are we good? Can you hear me? He's muted? Okay. Lulu, they say you're muted. Okay.
I'm still
Okay,
muted.
there you go. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
No, so what I'm asking is after that
What
situation.
you
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
What you see on the video are young people with their stones and with their rubbish bin lids that was used to block on any firearm being shot at you. Effectively, if you like, we were having no arms with ourselves.
Right.
We did not have any guns among ourselves. All what we had were stones.
Right.
Also, what we had were cocktail Molotovs,
Okay.
which is effectively a petrol bomb against a sophisticated police force.
Right.
Together with the army on us, and the only one cry that was there was about stop teaching us Afrikaans. We want a better education. We need to have a country that is free, and our land must be taken back. Those were the basic demands that were there, all aimed at saying we want a free South Africa.
Right.
So that's what we were talking about at the time. And the songs as well, they were very relevant to the point. And our songs were sung in such a manner that they were mobilizing, and they were songs of resistance, and songs that were calling on our people to join and resist apartheid.
Right.
Among other songs that was sung at the time was Senzenina, 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 Senzenina. That translates to what have we done? In a nutshell, Senzenina, what have we done?
Right.
Now, these are songs that were to be sung as part of mobilizing of our people to make sure that they join the struggle to free ourselves from apartheid, to get our freedom back. So that has to be the situation at the time of 1976, 1977. All aimed, as I said, in liberating ourselves from apartheid education and also apartheid system altogether.
Right. And Lulu, here's the thing. I don't think people realize how young you were when that was going on. You were basically about 13, 14.
Young man.
15 years old when you're doing all of this. This is a real serious thing for because at that moment you're a boy, right? You're really a boy. But because of everything going on, you're a young man now. You're thinking as a man, you're moving as a man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And until you were going to be in prison when we were there, 86 to 89, in detention, so to speak.
Right.
Until you were there, when there was a 9-year-old
Wow.
was also detained with us. And this 9-year-old literally having had no clue of what was happening in his life.
Right.
During break times, when we would be allowed to go out and do some little bit of sport for 1 hour, the young fellow literally would have been playing. As we were out there, playing sport, he was out there playing with stones, outside of a cell. And when we would be expected to go back to our cells, the young chap would literally be crying tears,
Right.
literally wanting to go back home.
Right.
So he had no clue of what was happening in his life. And the police also did not discriminate against anyone, young or old.
Right.
In our cell, we had old men who would have spent 17 years on Robben Island.
Well,
and
hold on,
also,
Lulu, hold on 1 second, because I wanna make sure we introduce that to the audience. And how did you actually get into jail, right? Because you joined the Congress of South African Students at that moment. Previous to you going into prison. So I want to get to that first, and then lead into prison and what happened in there, because that was a big thing that took place in that prison. But 1 second, we're gonna read something real quick, because you made mention. You said that they didn't discriminate against the old or the young when it came time to pick people up that were going against them and put them in prison. All right, so we're gonna read something out of the Bible real quick, and then we're gonna get right back. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 49.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 49.
Yep.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
So God is talking to the nation of Israel, right? As future prophecy, he said another nation of people were going to come against us. Read.
From the end of the earth,
Uh-huh.
as swift as the eagle flies.
And he gave that nation symbol. Read on.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Their British language, we didn't necessarily understand that when they came over. English that they taught us here, Dutch, we didn't understand those languages when they came over, right? Read on.
A nation of fierce countenance.
Fierce countenance mean angry people, mean people, right? Read on.
Which shall not regard the person of the old,
Uh-huh.
nor show favor to the young.
So it didn't matter if you were old or young, the oppression would affect the 9-year-old boy and the 69-year-old man. They would have them doing the same work, the same oppression. And the Lord, this is one of the curses that the Lord said was going to be. Jump to verse 46.
Verse 46.
This is how we identify ourselves in the latter days, because read this, watch this.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
The curses in this chapter right here, they're going to be upon the Israelites in the later days for a sign. Read.
And for a wonder.
Uh-huh.
And upon thy seed forever.
So forever until Christ come back, an Israelite will be able to read these curses and say that happened to my people. So it sparks me when you weren't talking biblical, you were just saying what happened, and then boom, it is exactly what's going on in the Bible. Right. It's exact. So that makes us the people of the Bible.
And something that you brought out before, Lulu, you mentioned about the first church that you had went to was called the Bantu, a Bantu church. I forgot the Bantu Christian Church, right? And I just want to show
Bantu.
you. Yes, that's
It's pronounced Bantu, not Bantu.
Yeah, okay, Bantu, which is Bantu, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Let me show you something, right? I'm going to show you a book, and then we're going to get right back to your story, right? Guys, just go to the class content, go to the very end, and pull up the that book, the cover of the book, and then that one page. All right? Just want to show you something. Okay. I don't know if you guys downloaded it yet, because I just posted it there not too long ago. You see it?
Yeah.
All the way at the end of class
Yep.
content, the
And
very last one.
What's interesting too is the same thing. I was seeing the photos of the apartheid oppression, and it's very familiar. We seen that in our cities. We being oppressed, being sick dogs on, children and women pulled out of their houses by the same nation of people. You know, so that lets us know who we are. We are one of the same people going through the same oppression, going through the same curses. All right, y'all got that?
Okay. Right? So the name of this book is called The Land of the Heart of Livingston, or The Genius of the Bantu, right? By N.B. Gormley, right? So bring up that page. Okay, read that. Yeah, go ahead.
It is allowed that groups of Israelitish people have, from time to time, journeyed into the Upper Nile country. But this does not seem to sufficiently account for the large access of influence of which the Bantu are the concrete result. In the absence of direct proof of an extensive migration, this hypothesis brings us to two considerations, viz.
Yeah, vis-a-vis. Go ahead.
Those of customs, religious and otherwise, and also those of language relations. The contention has been made that the extraneous element of the Bantu was derived from tribes of Israel,
Right.
which were first carried away to Babylon, as related in the scriptures, and who afterward in whole or in part migrated through Egypt into equatorial Africa, and through mingling with native tribes upon whom they imposed much of their own religion and customs, gave rise to the peoples now known as Bantu.
Right. So the Bantu, right, according to this writing from a scholar, and also what we see in the Bible, the Bantu are Israelites, right? They're Jews, right? So the Bantu people are Jews, and they tell you how the Bantus were brought into slavery all over the world, here in the Americas and the Caribbean, so on and so forth. So we just wanted to bring that out to you, Lulu, just to show you some history in the Bible, also with secular history. But now let's get back to you with the Congress of South African Students. Once you got there, now how did that lead to you guys being imprisoned? Because you started talking to us about you being in prison, but we want to show how that actually happened, how you wound up being there.
Maybe just before we get to COSAS, maybe just finish off, the chapter on young Christian workers, YCW.
Sure.
Among the very important lesson that we got to learn from YCW was through its motto, which really got to drive us to what we were doing in the tail end. The motto was called See, Judge, and Act. Seated there as young Christians, whether you are at school or you are at work or you are unemployed, where there is an injustice, we sit and analyze and get to understand from a biblical point of view, what is it that we are seeing? And when we look at injustice taking place right in front of our eyes, whether even if it is at home, for that matter, and having to judge is exactly how we have to interpret that scenario, that sin that we see ourselves confronted with. Is this how God wants us to live in? Is this how God wants us to live in a society where it is unjust? And then God then having to take us into being champions of such an action.
Right.
Action that changes that unjust situation, that unjust behavior, that unjust happening that is taking place either at school, where in one instance we had what was called a theme for the year called genuine representation. That theme drove us into getting to say, let us be the ones who represent ourselves. We are angels, we are champions, we are agents that are being sent out there by God to change the environment to being in a just environment. A song, as a result, would sing a song called Genuine Representation, Genuine Representation. It goes on and on and on. So that motto was very important and very strategic in really changing our environment, in changing the situations that we found ourselves in. As I said, whether it is at work, whether it is at school, or whether in your community where you stay, even in your own home situation where there is unjust system that exists, would be those agents, that would really have to see changes taking place in the environment that we found ourselves in. COSAS came in. It was born in 1979 in May, 31st of May until the 2nd of June. It was born not far from Johannesburg in a place called the Waterspruit. We got to be introduced to COSAS ourselves in 1980. Now, this is after we were groomed within young Christian workers, after we were taught basics within young Christian workers, after we were taught how to run an organization, what is the role of an organization, what is the role of a chairperson, what is the role of a secretary, what is the role of a treasurer. These were some of the basic teachings that we were taught in young Christian workers. By the time we joined COSAS, COSAS got us at a prime stage of the development of our lives in an organization. And COSAS was very lucky to have found us. As a result, what we brought into COSAS was a genuine project of having to run an organization and run it effectively with such a grooming that took place within young Christian workers, being found ready to run such organizations like COSAS. At the time, COSAS was an organization that was small but very militant. It was a clear project of the ANC at the time.
Okay.
As they were arrested from time to time, leaders of COSAS, so to speak, what became very clear is that the first president of COSAS who was arrested got to serve 7 years behind bars on Robben Island for furthering the aims of a banned organization called the ANC and the Communist Party. And others were detained and others had to run for exile. But when we got to be involved in COSAS in 1982, when I was elected Secretary General of COSAS, what became very clear is that we found an organization that was there in name. It was very militant. We were not able to get into understanding what COSAS and how COSAS was established or run until when we got involved. And frankly speaking, when we got involved in COSAS, it meant literally having to start it from scratch, because it meant having to say to ourselves, let us talk the language that those learners got or needed to understand. Let us talk a language that says, these are our bread and butter issues as learners. A language that would attract the learners to be involved in, so that we are able to get COSAS to be relevant to what those learners were expecting of COSAS. Among other things, we would be able to conduct extra classes, for instance, winter schools, wherein these things were relevant to the learners, relevant to the students, members of COSAS.
Lulu,
programs
Lulu, can I ask a question?
Yes.
I want to ask you a question because you said, just going back a bit, you said that you guys were groomed to be in a group like COSAS from young Christian workers, right? So they were grooming you guys more or less. You had a certain level of education. You understood biblical principle to a degree. You had a certain education that you'd be able to go out and basically be an activist, right? The question I want to ask is, was that a setup trying to make you guys be activists and just talk while they continue to take over and deal violently and grab the land still and do everything they're doing while you guys sit and protest and try to have conversations and talk? Meanwhile, they're entertaining you with conversation, but in reality, they're still stealing and oppressing and doing everything they would. Same thing like how it happened in the United States and other places where our people were being oppressed. When you look back at it, does it seem like that was part of a plan, an overall plan by the government at that time, is what I'm asking.
Grooming here means being taken at a young age, having to learn about having to run an organization. At that time, it was young Christian workers. We were not necessarily groomed for COSAS per se. Right. We were groomed into running an organization like Young Christian Workers, and generally speaking, running any organization that we would be in contact with. In this case, COSAS happens to have been lucky, I must say, to have found us having been able to be taught and to be groomed to a level wherein we're able to do things that under normal circumstances, others who were in COSAS were not able to do. To an extent, you would hear some of them, saying, yeah, but you are so advanced, where did you learn these things from? Now, these are people who were part of COSAS. Right. Without knowing that we were part of Young Christian Workers. And some of them, we even had to recruit them into Young Christian Workers. But at the end of the day, that helped the Young Christian Workers from literally running an organization and growing, most importantly, because we were able to talk a language that COSAS was able to listen to, understand, and be able to be attracted to. And that meant, therefore, that COSAS was to grow leaps and bounds. COSAS was to grow from being in the townships into being in the villages. COSAS was to grow from being in African townships into being in townships or suburbs where you had your white, so-called white learners. COSAS was to grow to being attractive even to those that were out of school, because at the time, the organizations were banned that were progressive. The organizations like the ANC were banned, the PAC were banned, Communist Party, all of those were banned. Now, what that meant is that COSAS became a voice of the ANC at the time. That was before we were to join COSAS.
Right.
What then became clear as we joined COSAS, it meant therefore that we needed to start from scratch. We needed to be able to be relevant to the learners, not having to find ourselves, being part and driving at programs of the ANC openly and overtly. We needed to do all of that because we needed to be relevant, and we needed to be able to reach out to those learners, and those learners were able to understand us. That's how the organization got to grow with time. At the point I was raising, that says we grew from being this student formation into being a formation that represented all of those that were oppressed, because also the fact that the voice, the progressive voice, the voice of liberation was not there at that time. So we became that voice.
Okay.
By the time the Boers were able to wake up, we were miles away. COSAS was to be found in small towns. COSAS was to be found in very big towns. COSAS was literally all over the country. And by that time, we were all over. It stopped from being an organization. It became a movement.
Okay.
At the time, those that were part of COSAS were going out of the country, going for military training, joining controversies. And by that time, a number of them, especially during 85, 86, 87, were detained under state of emergency. By that time, a number of them were killed. By that time, a number of them went underground, and ultimately, COSAS was banned in 1985.
Wow. So COSAS, which started off as a small thing, then became a movement. Then people started to become militarily trained, right? So now it's taken on a paramilitary type of. It's become a military, basically, is what you're saying. At some point.
It did not. It helped. It helped grow that militancy.
Okay.
To a point where some were trained in the country as part of underground military operatives of Umkhonto weSizwe.
Okay.
Some went to exile to join Umkhonto weSizwe, and some went to prison.
Right.
Because they were part of the underground operations of Umkhonto weSizwe and the ANC and the Communist Party. COSAS on its own, it never became a paramilitary. COSAS on its own, it never became a military formation.
Got it. Okay.
It remained a student formation, and it pursued its programs as a student formation. It never, as I said, and I repeat, it never got to be a military formation. It never got to be a paramilitary formation.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So,
you know what this sound like to me? It sound like, and I just keep remembering, because I know my history here in the United States. I don't know too much about South African history. I'm learning it now. We learn it because I don't know if you know, the news here, it's not as broad as they show us like local news and give us limited information. So now as I grow up, I become an adult. I think that here in America is the only place where those things are happening. But as you're saying that, I'm remembering the programs that the Black Panthers started for liberation of the people. There was abuse by the police, so on and so forth, by a white minority against the majority in our neighborhoods. Now we're looking at apartheid, where there's white minority who have policies in place to dominate the black majority. And in resistance of that, you have COSAS the same way we have AIM, we have the Brown Berets, we have the Black Panthers, all in liberation of the people, because the people are important. So guess what we have? We have food programs to help the people. That's how it started. But then guess what? It turned into it became a movement. The same way you're saying it's like, even though I've never been there, it's like I'm reliving the same story. And that's because we are all under the same curses, right? Now, I'll read something to you. Give me Lamentations 5. And we start at 2, right? So remember, the last scripture I took you to was showing you that in the last days, the true Israelites of the Bible would be going through these curses, no matter where you were scattered. So if you scattered in South Africa, the Israelite people will be going through the things we read in the Bible. If you're in the United States, the Israelite people will be going through the things you read about in the Bible. Brazil, Jamaica, all over the world, wherever the Israelites are, they will be able to read the things in the Bible and say, that's my history, right? So read verse 2.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 5 and verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens.
Our inheritance is given to other nations of people. This is our land, but other people run it, right? This is a curse that would happen to the Israelites. Sound familiar, right? Read on.
We are orphans and fatherless.
Our fathers are killed. Our fathers are killed. Read.
Our mothers are as widows.
And guess what? Not only are they killed, they're jailed and in prison. We see that we have Assata Shakur just died, political refugee. We have many of our political leaders have been put in prison for no charges, just for standing up for the people. Sounds familiar, right? Read on.
We have drunken our water for money.
It's our water, our land, but we have to pay them because they set policies in place, so on and so forth. Sounds familiar. Read.
Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution.
Our necks are under persecution all the time. This is we should be ruling the thing. We are the majority, right? But via these curses, God said he was going to put on the Israelites. We have to go through them. We live in them, right? Read on.
We labor and have no rest.
So we're always in a constant fight. We always in a constant fight. And that's how you start from a small group and become a movement, right? Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. Our skin was black like an oven.
Now it's giving you the color of the Israelites in the Bible. The color of the Israelites in the Bible. They said you've never seen a white person turn black, no matter what the condition. It says the people that's going through this persecution, they are black people, right? Read on.
Our skin is black like an oven because of the terrible famine.
Read on.
They ravished the women in Zion and the maids in the cities of Judah.
Watch this.
Princes are hanged up by their hands.
Our princes are being hung and beaten by their hands, right? Read on.
The faces of elders were not honored.
Right. You remember you said they didn't honor the face of the young or the old. Our elder wise men, not honored. Not honored. That's how this the persecutor of us, he gets down like that. He don't care if you're young or old. Read on.
They took the young men to grind.
Even if you were young, they make them work. They make them work. Read on.
And the children fell under the wood.
From the work. Read on.
The elders have ceased from the gate.
Yep.
The young men from their music.
Right. So our music turned into mourning. Like you saying, you singing a song that translated into what have we done?
Right.
What have we done? You know what I'm saying? Like, what have we done against the people? We are a peaceful people. You know what I'm saying? But then we're under persecution. That's how a minority can attack a majority, because we are the peaceful people, not knowing that they're looking to oppress us, looking to kill us, looking to take advantage of us, you know, because those things are in their heart.
Right.
So can we keep going?
Hold on. That's a good point. And we're gonna get back to that, but I just want to get back to Lulu about the actual time. So now you have people that were as he was saying, COSAS led to other things, right? So you had guys that were they were going underground. They were, running and getting low, and some being in prison. And Lulu, you were one of those who was imprisoned. And I know you spoke about the hunger strike that took place, and that was a big thing in there. Could you speak to us about the hunger strike that took place in prison when you guys were trying to get what you were looking for?
Maybe before I get to the hunger strike, I read the Bible from time to time.
Yes, sir.
Especially, with the recent developments that have been taking place in Israel and also in the Palestine. you begin to wonder, whether are we really, talking about the same, Israel that we are going through today, wherein, today we're praying for peace in Gaza. We're praying for, a peaceful resolution to the problems in Gaza, with a summit that is taking place in Cairo today. It really, has been a very, very sad moment with all the genocide that has been taking place in the Palestine. To an extent, you never even get to know whether or not you are going to have a sustained peace settlement that is taking place both in Israel and also in Gaza. At best, all I can say is that, let's pray for a sustained, peace that is resolving the problems between, Israel and also Palestine, where the two nations are able to live, and coexist, with one existing besides the other one. It just comes into mind that what is going through there seriously has been something that has been happening unheard of, where children and the elderly and women, pregnant or not pregnant, literally would have been killed, and it continued to be the case. That's the one part I thought I should just express before my mind gets elsewhere. And secondly, in America, you call him King Trump, am I right?
No, we don't. We definitely don't call him the king, but he's acting as a dictator, so to speak. But yes, we know where you're coming from.
The point I'm driving at is that when our president was out there at the Oval, what also became
I saw that
quite a dramatic situation was, the showcasing of the crosses, as if these are the graves of white people in South Africa being genocide. Do you know that those crosses are never ever anywhere in South Africa? They are only in DRC. Do you know? Did you know that?
Exactly. And that was but this is the witchcraft that's done by these people. Now, this time it was done by America. Please try to find that. Okay, that was the South African president met with Donald Trump, and they were speaking about going against Julius Malema. All right, find that. Okay, but what they did was they showed a bunch of grave sites saying that that's where white people were, but that wasn't South Africa at all. That was the DRC, which is the Republic of Congo. Okay, so they basically did a damn Hollywood shuffle, and people thought that this is going on in South Africa, but it wasn't South Africa at all.
Dang.
Okay, so and this happened this year in 2025. That's why people have to read. You have to pay attention. This is madness. But go ahead, Lulu. While we look for that, because we want to bring that up. That's an excellent point.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Those are the calls we spoke about earlier.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, we were at a point where we spoke about COSAS and also detentions.
Right.
In the specific area.
No, yeah, we were talking about with COSAS how did you wind up getting detained and then arrested and then being held in the prison, and this happened in the 80s for you, and leading into the hunger strike and everything else.
Oh yes. COSAS was banned in 1985, Of course, one was detained from time to time, even before 1985, even before the state of emergency.
Right.
And obviously one would have been running around the country, trying to escape being detained. At that point, one had already made contact with the ANC in exile. And I used to go to report to the ANC about the activities, because already by that time, 1983, I was linked directly with the ANC. 83, I am now 19 years of age. And then I used to go to Lesotho illegally. I remember I had about 3 passports that I used to use. At any given point in time, I would use this or the other. And then being shuttling between Johannesburg, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, Durban, Bloemfontein, at that age. That's what happens when, as they say, as a young person, you are a death defier.
Right.
That's what
right.
Oliver Tambo called us. Oliver Tambo, president of the ANC at the time, used to call us young lions. Not for any other reason, not because he loved us, precisely because of the kinds of programs that we were involved in. This is our generation. We are a generation of young lions. Or Tambo referred to us as such. We were young and were very energetic. We were very death-defying. Having to go to Lesotho on your own at 19 years of age, going to, leave messages and reports and getting reports and messages back into the country, and having to be expected to get some thousands and thousands of rands back into the country from Lesotho for the organization. These are some of the things that we're involved in. A box of your tissues underneath.
Right.
You have to take it out, some tissues.
Right.
And then in between those tissues, you would literally plug in, either your grenade or your
oh wow
firearm or your African communist, and then take your tissues back, and then with a glue, paste it all around, and then you'd have those 2 tissue boxes that you'll have to take with as you come out of the borders of Lesotho into South Africa. And you'll have to pretend as if you are sick, with flu. The other one is open, and then you needed to be sneezing a bit. And then there are some of the risks that you would take, having to be, part of that, program and activity, both of the ANC and also, of course, of COSAS. That happened until 1986, ducking and diving in and out of Lesotho, in and out of, Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, Bloemfontein, PE, smaller towns, until November 1986. I remember that day I was meant to go to Cape Town for a COSAS National Executive Committee meeting. Of course, at that time, COSAS is banned, but we're able still to meet underground. Now I had this girlfriend of mine that I had asked her to go get a bus ticket for me, because you couldn't fly out of any town, because as soon as you get into an airport, you would easily be identified and caught, so to speak.
Right.
So as soon as she was not able to, buy me that ticket, so it meant having to go get the money, and without knowing that the police were somewhat, hiding in that neighborhood because they knew that she was my girlfriend. So as soon as I got out of her house, having gotten the money, and then I was walking, along the fences of those houses, around 9 in the evening, I remember that day. And then suddenly there was this van, without any prints on it, without any signs on it, a clean van that came behind me, not knowing what was happening. So it meant that as I was walking by, streets are quiet at the time. There's no one, walking around.
Right.
Until a point where two gentlemen came out of this one van with balaclavas on top of their head.
Okay.
Oh, their head, sorry.
So is that a mask? Is that what you're saying? They were wearing masks?
They were masked, correct.
Okay.
Now, as they were, literally getting me into the van, I had to resist because I did not know who they were.
Right.
Clearly, what could have happened there, I would have been arrested, and then nobody would have known where I was.
Right.
So I had to resist such an arrest until, I had to make the noise. They are arresting me.
Right. You had to scream for the neighborhood to see and hear what's going on. They could come to your aid.
I had to. And as soon as I did that, the neighbors started, watching from the windows, what was going on. And so as soon as they discovered that they were being watched, they took off, their masks, Then I saw their faces, and then again, that gave me room for me to call on their names. So and so and so and so. They're arresting me.
So were these white people that were arresting you?
These are black fellows.
They were black folks?
They are black fellows.
Oh, this is terrible.
They are black fellows.
Terrible.
And one of them used to stay not far from the house where I was.
Really?
And the other one, I don't know where to stay.
So they were hired. They were hired by
like me and you.
So they were hired by the government to grab you because they
were
knew
working
your
for the
whereabouts.
special branch.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's horrible.
They were not hired to kill. They were working full time for the special branch.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So they had the information. They knew that your girlfriend and all of that. That's crazy.
Sorry?
No, I'm saying, so they already, like you said earlier, they had the information who your girlfriend was, where she lived, and from time to time
there,
you might come by.
Hiding somewhere.
Right.
Clearly. And then as soon as I discovered who they were, and then I had to make the noise calling of their names. And then, and only then that I, got to surrender.
Oh, okay. Oh,
but still, even then, I was still not comfortable because, I don't know whether anybody had seen me,
right.
Of course, I also did have to call on my name,
right.
that it is me, Lulu Johnson,
Right. Yeah.
It was quite a drama.
So Lulu, at this time, when they were grabbing people like that, right? Because I'm pretty sure you weren't the first one they grabbed like that. Were some people being killed?
1982, a friend of ours disappeared until this day and age.
That's right. Right. That's what I was. That's what I was.
There were a number of them.
Yep.
I would have been a statistic, if you like.
Absolutely.
Only in the morning around 9, that I got a visitor, and my girlfriend came through to see me. And only then that I really got to tell myself that at least I'm now fine. I'm sorted. I'm happy. I'm arrested, and the world knows me that I'm arrested.
Right, right.
Yeah, that was 1986 in November.
And how long did you guys? And how long was your stay in prison?
And also, you must bear in mind, this was not prison, of course, prison in terms of buildings,
Right.
but this was detention.
Okay, you just
detention without trial.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's horrible.
You were detained without trial, and they were interrogating you. They were shifting you from one, place of detention to another.
Right. So your family. I'm sorry, Lulu. So your family and friends, nobody really knew where you were, because if they're moving you around.
At first, they did not know. Of course, the girlfriend had to alert them.
Right.
And then they went to see me in St. Albans prison. That's how I got to relax at least, having to be known that I am now arrested and I'm at this place, and they would come visit me from time to time. The conditions were quite tough, coming closer to your question about hunger strike,
right.
Wherein there would not have been any, hot water. There was no proper food that you would eat. Meat was literally, what's the word? Where you eat it more like what's
that?
Your chicken would have been stuffed up. Your fish, was.
It's okay. It's like mashed together, grounded down. Yeah,
that's the word. Your chicken and your fish, the bones, as you eat all the time, you'll have to take them out.
Right. This is torture.
And your oats also, had all those, cuffs that would come out of it.
Right.
So part of the demands were, having to have proper meat, proper oats, hot water in winter. Of course, throughout having to have an option of water, whether it's cold or hot. They had to change all of those circumstances into. It meant obviously having to be involved in such a hunger strike that those demands were met at the end of the day. We spent 14 days without food. Water that you would get would literally be somewhat around here, so that at least you don't have, a dry mouth. 14 days of hunger strike meant for me having to lose weight until I was 25 kilograms.
25 kilograms. Hold on. Let me do some math. Okay. Right. So 25 kilograms, that's times 2.2 is 1 pound, right? 2.2 kilograms. No, 2.2 pounds is 1 kilogram. So you were close to like 60 pounds, like 60. That's a young child. That's a child. Mm-hmm. That's insane. It's amazing that you even alive.
Right. I'm this grown up now.
That's crazy. That is crazy. So and your whole and everybody was on the hunger strike together, correct?
Old and young.
Right, old and young. Man, that's a beautiful thing. And when I say beautiful, I'm talking about the unity. of it, right? Because without the unity, it's no way it would have worked. If you would have just went on a hunger strike, they would have let you die, right? But when everybody does it together, that's, you know.
Yeah. Now, there was one oldish man, though. You see, you know, police would be arresting everyone.
Right.
They would have identified it as to be dangerous. Among others, also, there was this one oldish fellow,
right,
who was not necessarily, you know, a comrade per se, but because he was a friend.
right.
So he got himself also arrested. He was in prison for his other, you know, personal things at some point, to an extent that this time around was also, you know, he was arrested for having been with comrades. Now, he also was expected to be part of all of what we're doing. So we used to rely on him because he had ways of finding things and doing things,
right.
Because of his experience as being an ex-convict.
Right, right.
For his private things,
right.
Not political stuff.
Right, just him being a criminal.
Now, his name was Mike.
Right.
Now, Mike used to bring us some newspapers from the kitchen. You know, at the kitchen, people cook and people eat. So Mike is also part of our hunger strike.
Right.
Now, Mike,
I'm hearing something.
Very early morning. Sorry.
Right. No, I'm laughing because this sounds like Mike was sneaking food.
Munching Mike. Mike Munch.
Now this one comrade awake around 2 in the morning.
Right.
When he sees Mike, you know, getting to the bathroom, you know, quietly, you know, getting to the bathroom.
Right.
As he gets there, he sits and he could hear, we were all sleeping. He could hear every little detail, you know, jump, you know. Jump. But here there was clearly a number 2, you know.
Right. Yeah. How is Mike doing a number 2 when we're on a hunger strike?
Right.
He's not supposed to be able to do anything.
Mike turned out that when he goes to get the newspaper from the kitchen, you know, he's helping himself out there. You know?
Yeah, Mike wasn't solid.
So Mike was very naughty. Mike had his cell was in a corner.
Right.
Mike, as I said, he's an ex-convict, you know.
Right.
He was out there arrested for his own criminal things.
Right.
So, but he's also friends with comrades. So that's how he got to be arrested.
Right.
So the following morning, now the case is on disciplinary committee. Comrades, we hear that one of us has defaulted on our hunger strike.
Right.
As we are busy on a hunger strike as disciplined comrades, one of us is busy breaking our morale.
Right.
Now, what is going on, Comrade Mike? Please, give us your story.
Oh, man.
And then we get a story of this comrade. And then Mike couldn't withstand the pressure, having to tell the truth as is. And from that day onwards, Mike, we're punishing you. Dang. Nobody speaks to you. Nobody makes contact with you.
Right.
And Mike is now isolated. Yeah. Nobody speaks to Mike. Even during break time, nobody speaks to Mike.
Right.
Mike is seated there all by himself.
Yeah,
So
Mike.
we have prison that is on you, Mike. On top of that, we have your own comrades that are on you.
Right, right. So Mike had to pay because Mike violated the program.
Mike went out of his way. Mike, messed up.
Right. Yeah, you
Now
guys had to
listen to this
discipline.
one.
That's good stuff. Yeah, he had to pay.
Listen to this.
Yeah, he has to.
Listen to this one.
Go ahead. Oh no.
Now Mike then brings the newspaper to the cell. So Mike is now
Mike ain't stop.
on his own in his corner reading the newspaper. And Mike makes all the gestures. Jesus. This happened. Phew. I wonder for how long will this fellow. Phew. Literally drawing our attention to him and to the newspaper and our interest for us to get into the newspaper. And we are not talking to him. We have a boycott against him. That happened for 3 days.
Man.
And Mike broke us.
Yo, Mike.
Mike different.
Mike broke us because we were very keen on those news.
Oh man.
What is going on out there?
And you guys you're looking at the news and now and you brought Mike back.
We were very curious. We were very eager to know what is going on out in the world.
Mike is good. Listen, Mike spent a lot of time
Mike was
in jail.
very smart.
Yeah, he's a sharp guy. He's a sharp guy.
Mike was very smart.
So listen, so Lulu, we don't have you for much longer. So I gotta jump in here now.
No problem.
When did you meet Nelson Mandela? After you got out and you met him at that point, how did that whole thing get together?
No, we're in a different prison.
Okay.
I met Madiba 1989. At the time I was working with Govan Mbeki, Thabo Mbeki's father. I used to be Thabo Mbeki's go-between. Govan Mbeki and Madiba. I would have to take messages to Madiba, and Tokyo also was our go-between, Tokyo Safale. To answer your question directly, I met him in 1989.
Okay.
But I worked with him more in 1992, effectively.
Okay. And so obviously Nelson Mandela, Madiba, he's an icon, right, all over the world. Right. So how was it working with him? I know at the time he was an icon even then because of how much time he spent in prison, and then him coming out and then dealing with the government and them trying to create some kind of a deal, which a lot of people really didn't. A lot didn't agree with, but he made the deal to try to make some kind of progression in South Africa. But how did you feel working with him? You know, how was that whole interaction? You know,
I made a mistake by saying I met him in 1989.
Okay.
I met him in 1990. My apologies.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Madiba was a very strong person. In his beliefs, if he believed in anything, it would have been very difficult. We were both president of the Youth League and president of the ANC at the same time, because I was elected in 1993 and also state president in 1994, obviously. By that time, I was also still in the ANC Youth League as president of the ANC Youth League. He also was a very autocratic person, I must say. You know, his statesmanship got into his mind. that says, I'm the elder.
Right.
I remember we were.
And Lulu, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure the people understand, right? When Lulu was saying that Madiba or Nelson Mandela was very autocratic, he's meaning that he's a guy who has to have total control of the situation, basically, right? So go ahead. I just want to make sure people understand that word because some people never heard that before, autocratic. But go ahead, Lulu, please.
We had a discussion and a resolution of the ANC Youth League about a Springbok, the emblem of our rugby team in the country.
Right.
We were resolved on a need to change that emblem from Springbok to a Protea. It was a very difficult discussion and decision. To an extent, equally very controversial. We had Boers who really worshipped, if you like, rugby.
Okay.
Rugby to the Afrikaners was God, if you like.
Right. It was a movie.
So when we were to talk about a need to change the emblem, it also meant that we're going at loggerheads with the Boers because they were just not happy. They were not eager to change the emblem.
Right, the Boers.
So many meetings took place between the Boers and Madiba until a point in time when Madiba called me to his office together with Peter, who came before me as president, and then I took over from him, Peter Mukaba. So the two of us were sat down by Madiba. And anyone in your office, or rather in his or her offices, who makes you to sit down as she walks up and about on top of you, you must just bear in mind, you must also get to know that you are in trouble.
Right.
So that gesture on its own was to say, I'm in charge here.
Right.
What you are doing is not right, and you must never do it. He had to lecture us for 2 hours about how far we have gone with negotiation, how far we have come with things as they were by then, a need for us to be sensitive. We avoided bloodshed. The stance that we're taking easily would have taken us backwards.
Right.
Now, this was the lecture that forced us to retreat.
Right.
Typical, elder would have to talk down upon, his children. You don't know anything here. We are in charge.
Right.
We've come this far. You're not going to tell us what to do, how to do, why to do. You must just go back and tell yourselves that we have here an ANC that is going to lead us, not the Youth League leading the ANC.
Right. Absolutely.
So that was to be a Madiba. A Madiba at any given point in time you differ with him, he would find a way of punishing you. We were meant to have had a national conference, but because we had some differences here and there, our budget for our conference had to be withheld. That was to be a Mandela for you. Very stubborn.
Right.
If you believed in something, that must go. If you believed in something, whoever you are not going to win. Type of
Right.
mentality that we had in Madiba. Hence, the usage of the term autocracy. Almost dictatorship, if you like.
Yeah. An absolute ruler, like a ruler with that absolute power,
absolute power.
Right.
Dictatorship, autocracy.
Right. I wanna show
that also talks to his background, how he grew up, as a young person, and among his peers. He became such a person who would have been my way or highway scenario.
Right. And I want to show you something because you mentioned about when Donald Trump sat with the South African president. I just want to jump to that because I know we don't have that much time, but I want to get into this because I have to ask you a question about it, right? Play that video real quick. The part about with the grave sites. Do you guys have that? You have it?
He said 1 second.
No, you don't have to look. I put one in the class content. Yeah, it should be there. Okay.
All right, that was an interesting bit of business there in the Oval Office. President Trump is actually conducting a show and tell in this high-stakes meeting in the Oval Office between President Donald Trump and the South African President, Cyril Ramaphosa. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Terry Moran. Those two world leaders met amid heightened tension between the two nations after President Trump accused South Africa of allowing race-based genocide to occur against white farmers in that country.
Right.
I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa.
Hit pause for a second, right? The white farmers. So earlier when Lulu was talking about the Boers, right? I know many of you probably didn't know what that term is, but the Boers, those were what the Afrikaners, those farmers, were being called. That was their name, the Boers. Okay, so that's what he's talking about now. All of those that came to South Africa, stole the land, then became farmers over the land, and was selling all of their stuff out, and they became rich off of that stuff. Right? Hit play. Hit play.
And it's a very sad thing to see, but I hope we can have an explanation of that because I know you don't want that.
All right, do me a favor. Forward it or fast forward. Just go and see if it should show. Just keep pushing. Elon Musk was there. They were talking about it. Keep pushing. Go ahead. Keep going. There should be a part where they showed the actual graves. And the president even got up and said, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Keep going. It should be in there somewhere. Keep going, guys. Go ahead. You're going to bump into it. You should see it. Go ahead. Keep scrolling. Okay, I thought I saw it on this one. All right, you can drop that. I'm not sure where y'all got that video from. I think I had a different one up. But just going back to that same sit down with Donald Trump and the president of South Africa, they brought up Julius Malema, right? How about him? Where does he fit in a current day South Africa today? How does he fit into all of this?
Julius's party is now number 3. It has lost support in the past election. And that's a clear sign that his compactness is not getting anywhere close to his ideal situation where he becomes the president.
Right.
The opposite is happening. As I said, he's losing ground. He would really wish, to see things differently where he becomes the president one of these days. But what is happening clearly is something else, where he is, as I said, losing ground. At best, how he does it, he wants to go the route of being unorthodox as he pursues his politics. He would wish to see things happening his way, where he has to believe, and also wants to, young people to believe in what he does and what he says.
Right.
And clearly, young people are becoming smarter than him. As I said, for some reason, because of such, young people are losing hope and are losing interest in his party.
So with Julius Malema, because a lot of people might not know what he stands for, and what he's standing for is taking the land away from these Boers or the farmers that are there and giving it back to the people of South Africa, right? That's what he wants. Now, how easily that can be done, we don't know, but it looks like he's willing to get that done by whatever means. Are the people of South Africa comfortable with that message? Do they want the land back by any means necessary?
The ANC also wants land back.
Okay.
Everybody wants land back to Black people in our country.
Right.
We have a dilemma in our country wherein, we have been having land back to our people. Our people have not been made ready to get their land back. What I mean by that is that land has been getting back to our people through any, land reform program, whether government buys on behalf of those communities that have been laying claim to those pieces of land, or, government, having been able to identify through processes that land indeed it belongs to these communities, and that land will be taken back. But because, as I said, that our people have not been made, to understand and allow that process to go back, because our people have since been selling that land back, to the Boers, to the Afrikaners,
Really?
which has been quite an unfortunate one.
Wait, Lulu, hold on. Wait. So you're saying the people got the land and then they are now selling the land back to the Boers?
Some of them.
Oh my God.
Some of them, which is quite unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Very horrible. This is crazy.
But in the case of Julius, and his party, it means something else. He does not mean what he says.
Okay.
What he says today, in the evening, is something else.
Wow.
What I mean by that is that he turns left in the day. At night, he turns right.
Mm.
In the day, he wears his red overalls. At night, he wears his Gucci and Louis Vuittons, and
okay.
And then he also does a lot of flip-flopping. At one point, Robert Mugabe is his hero.
Right.
At any given point in time, Robert Mugabe is a villain.
Right.
Right. Similarly, at one point, Thabo Mbeki is good. At any other point in time given, the other time, is bad news.
Right.
So you're dealing with somebody who's not okay upstairs, if you like.
Right.
That's Julius for you. What is important for him? It is himself and himself alone.
Right. Right.
And even his party, he does tell them that this is his party. And nobody else will do anything about his party, only himself.
Right. There you go. Yeah. Politics as usual. You know what I mean? When that's what happens. A lot of people, they get like you mentioned, not to put him in the same vein as Nelson Mandela, but what happens is that when a person becomes head of a party, they now feel that power, and now they don't want to hear anything anymore. They don't want any advice, no counsel. They just want to be able to move forward the way they see fit because they're looking for something at the end of the day. Hopefully, that's not him, right? But that most likely is the case. Lulu, we don't have much time left. We want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
It was excellent because we don't get an opportunity all the time to speak to individuals such as yourself that have been in the mix, and you've seen a lot. And we only scratched the surface. We didn't even go deep because you have a lot more, I know. But what we would love to do, because we do shows like this moving forward, geopolitics and different types of topics, it'd be beautiful if we could get you back again at some time. To discuss with you your opinion on things that's going on in the world and certain facts that you may know. So we want to thank you from the Nehemiah Squad. We want to say thank you again for being gracious with your time, Lulu.
Yes, sir. 100%.
All right.
Thank you for coming on,
Almost
Mr. Lulu.
Nehemiah Squad. I look forward to reading more about yourselves.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is your listenership? You have to ask again.
My listenership?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. So our main viewers are people who biblical based, right? I would say what's known as the Israelite community. People who know that they are Jews, black people who know they are Jews. And then after that, we just have a bunch of people watching, who are just in general watching just to see what we're talking about, because we'll take situations that are within the news, current events, and then find the biblical corresponding scriptures with them, So it's a little bit different take on a podcast. So we have a lot of people watching because of that,
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we will. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Much appreciated.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so we'll speak again. Thank you, Lulu.
Thank you for coming through.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
All right.
Thanks, Leonardo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shalom, shalom. Hey, throw that applause up there. What's going
Yeah.
on? Why is it so,
Bruh.
it's so. What's going on back there? Oh my God!
I
They
don't
got a
know.
delay.
These guys are asleep all the time back there. Yeah, right. Hey. No, hey, listen.
Knuckleball.
Yeah,
Huh?
got a knuckleball of
Yeah,
scripture.
JDL got a knuckleball of scriptures, man.
Who's that?
That was JDL.
Oh, what you got?
Read Micah chapter 2 and verse 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was that. I meant to bring that out, but we got into something. So, but yes. That's
That's a
it.
lot of good stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
That's what this whole conversation was about, right from the start to the finish. Was
100%.
the wicked that devise iniquity upon their beds. Go ahead.
When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
Right, because they had the ability to create apartheid. They created it, and they said, we're going to do this next. Read the next verse.
Right.
And they covet fields.
They looked at the land of South Africa. They said it's beautiful, right? It started with the Berlin Conference, right? It started in the 1800s. They said, we're going to divide the land. Then when they got their piece of land, they said, it's not enough for us to leave them over there. We got to push them into the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
And take them by violence.
Right, so they started putting people to death. That's where we started the conversation out with people getting shot, with rocks being thrown at them. That happened because they coveted the fields. They said, these people are fighting back. They singing songs of oppression. They're frustrated. We got to put them down. We got to end this resistance. Go ahead.
And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
Right. So they started with the house, then they started with the culture, then they said we're going to break this by any means necessary, right? That was the whole goal that they had from the beginning of this thing. So it's great to see that brother have a mindset to say from young to continue saying I have to look out for the best interests of my people.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people don't have that.
No, that's heavy you said that, because when I was first learning about him, I said, man, I look at the year he was born, and I didn't even look at that. I was just looking at the years that he was in it. I said, wait a minute. I thought I seen, so I looked at the year he was born. I said, what is he, 12? This is crazy, right? But that's to tell you how when you're in a situation that you're gonna you should be able to rise to that occasion, and you have to keep your integrity. You know what I mean? He kept his integrity, meaning that because trust me, we could have been speaking to him for about 10 hours. Believe me when I'm telling you, we could have spoke to him for like 10 hours. We're probably gonna have to bring him back because there's some other interesting tidbits that I'm pretty sure he would love to get into, right? But I'm telling you, that's the beautiful part about it, that he put his nose to the grind for his people, because you're not gonna be in it that long without love for your people.
100%.
I'm telling you, you're not. That's why he was speaking about Julius Malema, saying that at night he wears Gucci and all of that. When the brothers, it's funny, when the brothers went to South Africa, right, they were talking about how much bread
is in that city.
They were talking about cats was driving down the block with Lamborghinis, and they was living it. They were living it. So guess what? Guess what's happening to them now, right? They got given a gift. It destroyed their heart, right? That's what happens. So a lot of our brothers who's in the continent of Africa, who's running these countries, once Esau gets to them, once these white people get to them and show them something, hey, let's bring that out. Ecclesiastes 7:7, right? We always, this is a heavy scripture amongst us as Israelites, right? But no matter how many times you bring it out, it gets stronger and stronger because it really is truly meaning something. Read that thing.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7.
Come on.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Right. Surely oppression will make a wise man mad. Right? Like Lulu Johnson, he was a young man, very young man, but he was already knowing this is out of order. Right? His brothers were older than him, and he saw them being affected. Right? His parents. Right? This is something that, remember, when Julius was born, apartheid had been in effect already a long time. Right? So now he's coming in and seeing what's happening, and he's what? He's turned up and he's ready to go. Read that next part.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift destroyeth the heart, right? Meaning what? He didn't go that route. But there's probably many other people that were his peers that they probably gave something to, and then what? It destroyed their minds. They didn't realize that they were being oppressed anymore. Like the two brothers that went and arrested him. Remember, he said they were working for that, the government, police, whatever that situation was. They were working for them full time. That was a gift that destroyed their mind. That they would go ahead and grab their brother, like seeking and oh, that's his girlfriend house and this and that. Going to get, why? So they can get a check, so they can live comfortable. While he was out there, running through the grass and hiding. He said he had 3 passports. He said they were hiding guns in tissue boxes. They had to pretend like they were sick while they hold. At you.
Trying to make it through.
I juggled my Glock. Like, bro, that was a beautiful thing. I love hearing stuff.
Yeah, I already know.
Yeah, I came alive when he started talking
stories.
Yeah, started talking to smuggling grenades and guns. I was like,
ooh-wee.
Tell me more.
He said tissue paper.
Let's go.
That's smooth.
Let's go. Right? Because, hey, listen. We in this truth and all that, but we do understand the mind of the freedom fighter. You know what I mean? That's part of being in this truth, is having the mind of a freedom fighter. We don't get violent because the Lord said, no, that ain't the time for all that, right? Ours is a spiritual battle. But you have to commend brothers. You feel that, you know what I mean? You feel that charge when you hearing this, because you know that at that time, that was what was needed. That was what was necessary. It was no talking after a while. Talk to who about what?
Right.
You know what I mean? You robbed me and I want mine back. You don't want to give it back, so now I got to smuggle in a tissue box. You know what I mean?
Cab, he said I could have been a statistic when he was talking about his friend that died. He said I could have been a statistic, but it didn't stop him.
No.
Right? Like even with the risk that was there, he said, I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep doing what I need to do. You know, so it shows you the mentality that he had for sure.
Exactly. All right, let's bring out a few more. Hey, bring me up video number 9, because this is what I want to show you. You brought out what happened at the Berlin conference, right? Where you talking about the scramble for Africa, right? Watch this. Now this is the guy Trevor Noah. Now his, he's not Israel, right? But his mom is, right? So he's gonna speak about how this apartheid thing got started, because this is important to hear and understand, so you can know the level of wickedness that's in South Africa even now as we speak. Go ahead. Video number 9.
Unmute it.
Please, you got to unmute it and take it from the beginning.
We got to hear it.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Who's on the 1s and 2s?
Come on, brothers. It's all the way bad. Huh? Okay, so they saying no audio is coming from that reel, but I have the reel and there's audio.
Amazing.
Right now, watch.
I got a scripture.
Go ahead, man.
All right, give me Sirach chapter 20 and verse 14. We're just making reference to the gifts that people will receive, right, in order to do wickedness. So he made reference to those 2 men, that his brothers that were given a gift. Watch what it says here. Sirach 20 and verse 14.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 14. The gift of a fool shall do thee no good when thou hast it.
So the topic is a gift. Go ahead.
Neither yet of the envious for his necessity.
So they'll give you gifts for their necessity, right? That's why Esau made sure those brothers were taken care of. He said, I'm going to give you a job. You're going to work full time. I'm going to pay you. Go ahead.
For he looketh to receive many things
People
for one.
of color.
Right. So he's going to give you one gift, and he expect you to give your life for that one gift.
Right.
That's how a lot of these brothers end up, right? So when he said he went Gucci at night, so yeah, he might present one way, or the other brothers that was willing to take their brother, but the gifts that what they got to do in return for those gifts is the entire life that you got to work now for that one gift.
Right. Crazy. Y'all got I heard it. Yeah, y'all got it all worked out, huh? Talking about this.
I feel like everyone should know this, but apartheid was basically a system of laws in South Africa, a system of laws that were designed to oppress people of color and all people of color. Apartheid made it illegal for black and white people to interact with one another, my parents included. You know, at the time when they were a couple, it was against the law. Me being born was against the law.
It's a crime for him to be here.
Yeah, my dad couldn't be on my birth certificate. My parents couldn't have me on the, like, you had to have a registry of all the people that lived in your house at the time. My grandmother couldn't have that in her house. But I think most importantly, the thing a lot of people don't realize is apartheid essentially was perfect racism. You know, like, I'm still learning about how perfect the system was in terms of, like, they went around the world. The government actually set up a commission to go around the world and study racism. And America was one of the places they came. They went to Australia, they went to the Netherlands, they came to America, and they were like, what is the racism here? How does the state oppress people of color? What can we use from the system to take home?
Y'all see that? They wanted to get a perfect racism. So they went around and, this is how United States deals. This is how, South America, this is how they deal. This is how, Caribbean, so on. They went all over to see what was the best way to destroy a people, right? You're talking about a place where the white people are probably about maybe 13% of the population, 13, and they own almost the whole country, right? So what? That means that they had to put you in a docile state. Right. They had to make an example out of a couple of people, kill them, do whatever. We're not hearing the whole thing. There's another video we got here showing how the people talking about how life is so great in South Africa, so easy. They have servants that they train. So by the time they get home, everything is taken care of. You can't make this up, right? So when you hear a guy like Julius Malema talking about getting the land back by any means, of course you're going to champion that. But then again, like Lulu brought out, is he really serious? Right. Is he really ready to give his life for it? Because that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take, Hey, y'all. Go ahead. Y'all have something?
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
Psalm 64 and verse 5. So they went around the whole world to figure out how they could oppress the people, right, and figure out racism. Go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily.
Right. That's that community. That's that going around and having a think tank, a discussion about how they could lay this trap. Go ahead.
They say, who shall see them?
Who gonna see us commit this evil? Go ahead.
They search out iniquities.
They search out iniquities. They said, look, I know you're doing sin over there, but what level is your sin at? Like, I know you oppress the people, but how did they rise up? What did you do to stop them? What did you put in place? Because when you look at apartheid, you see Jim Crow, you see black codes, you see some of the same similarities there that were here. Like, they had black and white entrances when you look into apartheid. So there were different things that you saw in America that were also there. This was in the like late 1900s, right? That this was about 1994, I think it was. So you see that they had to come to America and say, okay, what were y'all doing? Did that work? What stopped it? And like he said, it was perfect racism. That's heavy. Go ahead.
They accomplished a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Right. So every single thing that they were thinking was deep. It wasn't like, let's just go execute this easily, because to oppress the majority of the country, I think Captain said 13%. So that would mean what? 87% of the country, right? Is black?
Yeah. Well,
right?
Mostly black, and then you got also who they call coloreds, which is Indian, right? Elam and then they have their mixtures and they're known as colored.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then you had something where the Japanese would be down there, and they call the Japanese and the Chinese, they would call them honorary whites.
Damn.
Right? So they would be able to get certain privileges with Esau.
Damn.
All right. Hey, listen, it's crazy. Like, we could have really got into it. It's just that we had the conversation with Lulu, but there's a lot. It's real crazy. You know, it's just really a lot. And we're gonna touch back into it. We have another guest coming on in a couple of weeks, and y'all gonna see it's gonna be relevant. That's even a crazy story. And, hey, also from Africa, from Namibia, and we're gonna get into that whole thing about the stealing of the land there, resources, all of that. It's gonna be crazy. So this is gonna kind of play into that as well, right? Damn, I felt like I wanted to get something real quick before we go, because we don't have that much time. We gotta lock down. Hey, before we go, play number. It's not a video, but just bring up number 4. All right, bring up number 4. Okay, so these are the kind of things that were going on in South Africa. You talking about these white people? They wasn't giving a damn about nothing. They was killing people, knocking them off, no problem, getting rid of them. Right? Watch this. Check this out, y'all. Yeah, scroll up, right? So this is called the Sharpeville Massacre, right? A violent turning point in the history of South African apartheid, right? Go ahead. Yohanatan, please. Yes, sir.
On March 21st, 1960, police officers in a black township in South Africa opened fire on a group of people peacefully protesting oppressive laws. 69 protesters were killed. The anniversary of the Sharpeville Massacre is remembered around the world on March 21st, the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination.
Right, so they try to use this day as saying that this is going to be the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. Clearly, that's not the case. There's plenty of that still going on. Right? But this is something that y'all guys can pull up and read about. Okay, so this is normal. They have many of these chapters in the history of South Africa. This is just something that they chose to hold on to and say, oh yeah, this is the elimination for. But this, a lot of these type of situations went on. Y'all saw the video of the brother getting shot when he was showing what happened on the June 16th back in I think it was late 60s. Okay, late 60s, and you saw the brother get shot and he's holding himself like this is regular stuff, you know. But hey y'all, we're gonna have to shut it down. You know, we came to the end of our time, and it's really a lot to talk about. But y'all stay tuned, because we're gonna continue this type of talk, geopolitical, and it's a lot. It's a lot going on. That applause was too short, bro. Yo, act like we doing something up here. You know what I
mean? Lay on that button.
Right, yeah. All praises.
Touched it.
Yeah, all praises. You know, we went into certain scriptures and stuff like that, and because that's what it is. You know, to bring out and make the understanding of who we are as a people. You know, we brought out about the connection between South Africa, what they were going through and what was happening here in the United States. And those were excellent points, you know. All praises to the Lord. So, oh, yeah. Hey, don't forget, all right, the Booster Club, right? Isaiah 11:11 Project, all right? We going all over the world, gathering the 12 tribes back together again. All right, this is what we are doing. So we need y'all help. All right, hotel is not free, flights not free, the food ain't free. All right, so we do need your help. Put y'all brick in, allow us to go around and do what we need to do in regards to spreading this word and bringing the 12 tribes back together again. All right, so give what you can. All right, that's the Booster Club. All right, also save a couple pennies for us. All right, support the show. All right, that's the QR code for IUIC.NorCal@IsraelUnite.org. All right, we're going to add a couple pennies and you know, get the set a little nicer, you know. All right, and so on our next show, right, which will be airing on October the 20th, we have Dr. Marie Charles. All right, it's called Black Europe. Cover Up, the Forgotten Names of the Dark Ages. And this show is going to be crazy because a lot of y'all, we've been talking forever about what? The Dark Ages, right? The Moors running Europe for 1,000 years. Now we got a scholar that's going to come in and talk to y'all and show you. She's written a lot of books, but this particular series has about 3 books in it and whatever else she wants to show. But it's going to be great. Y'all need to be here. Y'all need to watch. It's going to be one of our, I mean, we love all our shows, you know, because we get the chance to talk to so many different people, and it's beautiful, and also bring out the scriptures to them as well, and, you know, show the corroboration between what's happening now and in the scriptures, right? So y'all watch. It's going to be a great show. So with that, Officer Shem, could you?
Judah.
Oh, yeah?
All right.
Oh.
Dang.
All right.
Dropped it on me. All right, let's get it.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13 and verse 21.
Bring it out.
Then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you.
Yeah, so we the Nehemiah Squad. If they do this again, we got to lay hands on you, right? If the apartheid and systems of oppression keep messing with our people, we got to lay hands on you. If you don't donate to the Nehemiah Squad and the Booster Club, you never know. We might have to lay hands on you. Hey, we the Nehemiah Squad. We got Captain Zaccai, Officer Shem. I'm Officer Judah. We got our special guest, Officer JDL. Signing out. Shalom.
Most High Christ bless y'all.
Most
Shalom.
High
Shalom.
Christ bless.